What up? Oh man, what a week. By you guys. Um, you got to give me some credit for posting videos this week, huh? Hello? Yeah. So turn the volume down. I we brought I we did two videos. We did the company meeting, and then I did a video talking about like getting the Mo guys on the same page kind of thing. Um, yeah, yeah. So I hired a guy named Daytona, who's I think pretty good at videos. So I reached out to him. We were going back and forth. He was out of town. He's moving into this area, so he was looking for something. He definitely has experience in video editing and that kind of stuff. And so there were like 2 days where we were supposed to meet, and for whatever reason I had to reschedule, and then on another day he had to reschedule, and then Wednesday or Tuesday night I was like, all right, dude, come ready to film tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, and shoot the team meeting, and that'll be our interview. you know so he comes that morning, shoots the video and edits it and has it ready by the end of the day. Done. So basically he was on the team after that. And then he's been shooting pretty efficiently, working on multiple videos, with all the content he gets. He's like, I have probably 3 different videos here that I'm just gonna need to keep reshooting and getting them all done. It's like, dude, I want 2 videos a week, Wednesday and Friday. And he did that, and I feel like this is perfect because I feel like he's motivated enough that I don't need to be like telling him every week the deadlines. I think he just knows it, and I think he's creative enough to get it done. So that's what I got going on with the filming side of things. We do have a sponsor that I've had for a while, and I know that that's going to help too. So we have to shoot like kind of like a commercial for in the middle of the videos or whatever, maybe whatever at the beginning, middle, with the sponsor stuff. And if I do that, I'll get some money, and that'll be the start. So I told the video guy, obviously I like doing this as a hobby because I just love it, and I love to share my business tips. I love hearing what other people are doing, um, you know, and it's pretty easy for me to just talk about what I love, which is my business. So I don't mind doing it at all. But having to hire somebody, I was like, I really think the goal of the video person position that I've had throughout my years of since 2016, I think, maybe 17, I've pretty much on and off have had a video person shooting commercials for Lawn Thumbs, or doing Instagram reels, or helping me with YouTube videos. Like throughout those years, I've always had somebody kind of like on and off. There were some years I had them, some years I don't, but it is a position that I have had. What's up, Sam? And I told him, starting pay is this for this position, but if you can match what the Mo guys are doing, in revenue with sponsors, and I'll help get the sponsors too. Um, and just from the views and that kind of stuff, if you could just match what the Mo guys do, then we can start talking about next level stuff. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way I'm kind of looking at it nowadays. Because yes, I love doing the videos, but I don't have the time to do it. You know, and I've never really had anybody super consistent. What's up, Dan? Dan. I've never had anybody super consistent with videos like throughout, you know, for a long period of time. Um, and so I'm hoping that if I give them a goal of making actually revenue on these from videos, not that I'm not trying to make money off videos. I'm really not. But if I want to pay somebody to do it, we've got to bring it in. And I even told, I haven't told them this, but even the consulting stuff that I get from the videos, I'll put it towards that pot or whatever. Not really the pot, but like I'll include it as revenue coming in for the film, for the videos. So anyway, hopefully like he takes that as a challenge and actually like pushes for good content, and then we can kind of make a little bit of money so I could pay for somebody doing videos, because I have bigger plans too. Like I've been saying for a long time, I want to go out to other shops, do shop tours, do interviews at the shops, and showcase other businesses. You know, I want to do that. What's up, Dan? Much love for you, brother. Good luck this year. Thanks. Same to you, man. Um, yeah. Dan was one of my sprinkler techs. Been a friend for a long time now. Has his own sprinkler thing going. So now I've been trying to recruit this guy in sprinklers that I know for a couple of weeks, I guess, but I think he's just kind of happy where he's at and doing what he's doing, doing sprinklers on the side, and I know he's happy doing that. So I think so. I told him, let's just keep doing it how we're doing, and I stopped trying to recruit him. It's fine. It's almost the end of I don't know. It's not the end of the season, but it's definitely the end of the busy season for sprinklers. So I'm not gonna try and I don't want to promise somebody a big wage and then kind of like start going in slow season. It's not going to be good, even though I do need somebody that's really good. But I'm growing a pretty strong team, guys. I will say I do have the strongest team I've ever had. And we're now 7 days a week doing sprinkler repairs. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. And when I say 7 days, I mean we have a whole nother, we have two guys that start on the weekends. They don't work the weekdays. So even though we're 7 days, the wages are manageable. Like the overtime is controlled, because the guys that work Monday through Friday don't really want overtime. Although I did hire somebody who wants overtime, and as long as we have work, let's go. I'll never take that overtime from you. So, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about sprinklers. I feel like it's still in the early phases, even though I've been trying really hard for 4 years. I'm at the point where, believe it or not, even though I'm not where I thought I'd be with sprinklers 4 years later, I know my original plan, the way I was originally trying to build the team, doesn't work. So now I'm going to what I'm good at, which is just hiring workers that are good and try and fit them into my system, rather than try and bring in new people to push a new style of work ethic, or I don't know what you call it, but like I was trying to mimic another company for this division because they're super professional. They talk to customers, they give quotes in front of the customer and stuff. So I was trying to be like them. So I was trying to hire people like that. And it just wasn't working. It doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is just hire the workers that I know I can get that are hard workers that might not be able to talk great with customers, but I think that's going to be better than the other way, because I can be the middle person, or this position could be the middle person giving quotes, talking to customers, telling them what is expected, rather than every single tech. I do have techs that do that, and that's great, and they're good, great work ethic. Anyway, it's just a little change that I got to do, and I'm doing it. And it's so far it's been working out, and not immediately, it's been this whole year, but I feel like I have the strongest team I've ever had. There's just some tweaks we still need to make, but that's always going to be the case, right? Just like I was telling you in my last video, no matter how organized you think your mow is, like I feel like we've been mowing and have same people for quite a while, so we have a strong mow team, and we still like are not on the same page. Like there's still problems even with my strong mow team. There's still some problems in my strong garden team. Like I would say there's actually less problems in my garden division, but there's still problems. Not big ones, thankfully. But so that gives me hope that like even my sprinklers, like that's not perfect, and it seems like, man, I'm always trying to juggle something here and there. I think I may have a guy coming for a check. So my office, it has such a hard time to see like anybody parking. It's annoying. And my camera's down for whatever reason. And I just noticed it when I sat down here today. So I don't know what's going on out there. But anyway, yeah, I got to cut it short today. I'm not cutting it right now, but it's going to be a short live because I do have another event at the house. And my wife is expecting me there early. So, and I've got guys working, so we should be good. Yeah, I've got 2 techs out working, doing sprinkler repairs. And then we're going to have a subcontractor working a job sometime this morning, I hope. That's the thing with the subs. Never really know. But I feel pretty confident still. What else is new here? How's everybody doing? Anybody, I don't know, having a best year? Anybody having the worst year? I would say, so my wife asked me this week how we're doing, because she noticed I've been stressed out. So has my son. And it's pretty sad because I am stressed out, but things are going pretty good. But I would say compared to last year, they're probably the same. And I was stressed out of my mind last year too because of the property stuff. So I don't know what they're really thinking. Ooh. Ugh, excuse me. The reason why I'm feeling stressed this year is because of the sprinklers, because I figured out a new system that I'm doing. where I'm trying to give quotes over the phone. I'm being the mediator between the techs and the customers, which is something we should have done from the start. But I didn't, and we're doing it now, and it's working great. But it's got me stressed. It's like, I don't know, even when a customer calls and says, "Hey, I need sprinkler repair. You guys did something last year, and now I need something fixed again." I'm nervous. Like, is whatever we did fail? Did whatever we did fail? You know what I mean? Like, I just can't help but feel like on defense with with every sprinkler call, pretty much. And I gotta just go, "It's okay. It's all right." We did a warranty call yesterday for a job that we did last month, and we charged $3,000 last month. And then this week they called saying that it's flooding, like it didn't hold. And so that had me stressed out because the sprinkler guy was telling me when he was there fixing it originally last month that the pipe to the house looks very bad and old, but he's not touching it, so it should be fine. So when he fixed a main line that was way, way down there, and then the customer says that there's something leaking, he's like, "It can't be what I did because I just did it like last month. It can't fail that fast." So it had me worried that it was the pipe to the main line to the house. And I was just like, "Oh, damn, I don't want to deal with that." So it had me kind of worried, but we figured out it was not that side because when we shut the water off to the yard, the flood stopped. So thank goodness. And so we went yesterday, fixed it, and that relieved a lot of stress for me. But that's about the worst that it gets with sprinklers. It's like a big $3,000 job or more fails, right? Like, doesn't really get much worse than that, knock on wood. But I'll get a phone call for something silly like, "You guys were here last week to do an adjustment. There's a sprinkler hitting the street." Those things stress me out for some reason, you know? You know? But they shouldn't. It's not a big deal. Like, that's nothing. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with. But as far as, saving money, it's going about as good as last year. And last year was just phenomenal. The only problem is I did have to spend all that money on the down payment of this property. But of course, that's a good thing. And then this year, I've had to pay some things that I couldn't really pay last year because of the property. But one of the game-changing things that I did this year, and I'm so happy I did it, and I don't think I could have done it any year prior to this, was I hired a full-time mechanic. And not just like somebody that likes to tinker around with cars. I'm talking a real mechanic. And it's going phenomenal. I actually thought I had 24 trucks up and running for the company. I have 25. So really I have 24, but one of them I'm paying an estimate, like one of my main guys, I'm paying for his truck and he uses it for work. So that's why I say I have 25. But really I have 24 that are my trucks, that are out in the field type trucks. It's not including my personal truck. That's just the blue trucks. 24, and they're all up and running. It's insane how awesome that feeling is. We had 2 trucks go down last week, and the mechanic went to one of the properties where one of the trucks was broke down, and he had to go get parts somewhere, but then he came back and he fixed it right there in front of the house, in front of some customer's house. And then the other one was able to drive it back to the shop and get on another truck and go. And while it was here at the shop, he fixed it. So he fixed two trucks that were down that normally would have just been like dragged back to the shop and put off to the corner somewhere, unless it was cheap enough to fix, you know what I mean? Unless we could send it to like the repair shop next door. If it was cheap, we would probably have done that. But usually a big break, we just kind of park the trucks on the side before we had a mechanic until we felt like we can afford to fix it. We had 2 or 3 trucks that had transmission issues that have been parked on the side in the shop for years, and they're up and running now. So, man, I'm just like thinking, so happy that I have a mechanic. I always thought, nah, I'm right next to a shop. It's not the same. It's so different. You know what I mean? When you have a mechanic, I mean, he's in a good one who's like likes to work. I mean, he's always looking for something to do. He's also big on like motivating the team, like letting them know, hey, if you have any issue with anything you see on the property, tell the ops manager. If there's anything that's not going good with the truck, tell me. And it's just really cool that I have somebody like that. He's the mechanic, but he's kind of taking on like a leadership role. And I'm just like, it's really awesome. So at the meeting that we did this week, you saw from the video, he was talking. He was the mechanic guy who was saying, if the steering wheel is like moving around while you're on the freeway, that's a problem, and you need to say something. Don't just say it's not a big deal. So, oh man, I don't know why I'm so tired. This coffee isn't doing nothing. So let's see. Jarmar, what's up, man? Hope you're having a good year. My year is pretty good. I would say it's comparable to last year. I don't know. I feel like it's going smoother than last year, but the revenue-wise seems the same. At the end of this month, and I'm just talking in general, not Charmar, just talking in general. I think at the end of this month, we'll be very close to hitting the $1 million mark at the end of this month. So we still have like what, a week and a couple of days. We're doing closer than I thought. Sprinkler wise, we're still doing a little less than last year, but I feel like our team is stronger. There's just some new people that don't know pricing yet, so I can't send them off on their own. But things are going pretty good. I wish, so we do need an estimator. And I was texting somebody last night, and he stopped texting me. But we do have an interview Monday. It'll be his second interview here, but it'll be the first time Rachel talks to him. I spoke with him, and then I recommended. I don't know if I recommended, but I told her about him. That I met with him because I was looking for a sprinkler dispatcher at the time, and I just didn't feel like that was the best role for him. But I said, let me talk to Rachel because she's looking for an estimator. And so I was telling her about him, and in that day that I told her about him, we interviewed somebody here. So we are actively interviewing for that position. She's just not going to make a decision until she talks to this guy. And then I got to throw in another guy that I just met. His resume is all landscape stuff. And I said, based on your resume, I'd like to meet you. So, and he said, oh, that's great. And then that was it. It's like, and I said something like, when can you meet? And he didn't respond. Yeah, so the last thing he said was, I'm interested in the landscape position. And then I asked him when he could come meet, and he didn't answer. Oh, I got a review. 5-star review. Jose was top notch. He knew his stuff and worked quickly and went above and beyond. Yeah. That guy gets more reviews than anybody. That was the one on the meeting where he got like 3 reviews, but he wasn't there, so I kept pocketing the money. You got to show up to those meetings for that kind of stuff, because it's kind of bad morale when the team sees that somebody's not there. Because there's a lot of people don't want to go to those meetings. I mean, a lot do. I would say most do, but I bet you there's a bunch of people that would rather just start working than go to the meetings, and they all show up. Here we're having the most profitable year yet. Awesome. On pace to double last year's revenue. Woohoo! That is awesome. Double? That's great. But things seems hard to come by this last month. Dude, that's crazy to do double the revenue. Oops. Oh man, I can't even imagine what that would be like. That'd be amazing. I think next year is going to be our blowout year. And I should be like, now this year this year I kind of know, like, we had a plan for this year, right? So last year we cracked the code on profitability. We cracked the code. We did 25% profit, and we bought the property, and that's proof that we killed it, because we had no money the day we found out we had to buy this thing, and we had a short period of time to do it. I got rejected from the first bank that came and looked at our numbers. I did not tell that to the seller. We went in super drive because we had to buy this place, and we did it. Our backs were against the wall, and we had to do it, and we did it. So because of that, it was like a master class of for profit last year. And we cracked the code. That's what I keep saying. We cracked the code because we figured it out. Tracking everybody's man-hour rates. That's super important. Keeping our overhead costs low, which is something I kind of went back up on, and I need to lower it again. For sure. There's a lot of improvement opportunities with fixed overhead stuff. And so what we figured out is how to maintain the maximum amount of profit with the $2 million revenue year. And that's good, but I want more, right? We want to build this thing to be stronger. I also have some credit card debts that I want to clear up. And so we need more revenue. Um, so we went into this year kind of with a plan. Like, we know what we did last year. We want the same amount of profit, but now we want to save it because we don't have to buy the property, right? And we were doing that. The thing is, I did have some obligations that I needed to pay, so that wiped not all my profit, but let's say half, more than half, more than half my profit this year. So far we're probably running at just throwing out a number. Let me see. So we're at 1 million right now. No, we're at about 900,000. I mean, we're closer to 1 million now. But I'm trying to think how much profit we have. I can't remember the number, but what I do remember puts me at 10%, and I'm not happy about that. But I don't know if that's true. Let's see. Um, sorry, I can't think. 20, okay, 40. Let's see. Okay, doing pretty good. Let's see. I think we're at 14%, which I'm not super thrilled about, but we do have more costs than we did last year, like a lot. We have, I painted 3 trucks. I've been spending money like crazy with the shop stuff, like whatever. Um, and the mechanic, right? Not only the mechanic, I mean, it's just a mechanic. I mean, it's a wage, but like he does spend a lot of money every day buying parts every day, even tires, stuff like that. Oh, Jamar, you wrote something. Sorry, I didn't see it. We paid off our credit card debt, 25K. Want to dial in my pay and stack some cash. We've always been running thin with cash in the bank, so I want to get out of that habit. That's great. Um, yeah, if I didn't have my credit card debt, I would be so I think my company would be so valuable, like so much more valuable. In fact, I think it's pretty valuable even with the credit card debt, because if I were to sell this company, not that I want to do that, but I don't think you sell your credit card debt with it. I think that stays with the owner, right? So it's not like the new owners, and I'm not trying to sell, or I'm not trying to sell. They wouldn't have that debt. And I have 5 vehicles financed, um, which is way more than I ever have. I've always had, like, I think 2 was the most at a time, but there was such a good deal with the 3 that we ended up doing it. So basically 5 trucks on finance. Um, I have a couple, like 7 or 8 thousand in plowed debt, um, and about 10 or 15,000 with my Bobcat. That's it. That's all the debts I have, besides the property. I feel like there might be more. And then my credit cards, obviously. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the 2 trucks. So 5 trucks, Sheffield with plows, and the Bobcat. That's actually pretty good. My bookkeepers at Cycle CPA say that is great. I've been listening. I've always been listening to Tommy Mello, but I've been listening to it more lately than I have in a while. And he's always talking about having an exit strategy. And then I finally started, I let my guard down and I'm like, all right, what is that? So I don't know if it was Tommy Mello or somebody else said, everybody dies and everybody exits their business. Everybody. If they have a business. It's kind of like everybody dies and everybody exits. You can have a plan if you die. Some people can have a plan. They can plan when they're dying or whatever. And you can plan your exit. Sometimes you can't plan either, right? But it will happen. You'll die unexpectedly. And if you die unexpectedly, guess what? You exited your business as well. So who's there to take it over? Because when you die, you just exited your business. And somebody or nobody is there to fix it and save it. It could die too. Or you have a plan and somebody could take it over. My point is, if you give your business to a family member, you're like your son or daughter, you just exited your business. You know? If you die, you exit your business. If you sell, you exit your business. So you might as well have a plan. And that's what I'm trying to build now. I'm trying to build, I kind of always was secretly running my business as if it's going to sell someday. Because I read that in the E-Myth book, right? Like, you do systems so that you're working on your business, not in your business, and then you're building those things. The best way for you to figure out how to run a good system is act like you're going to sell it someday so that the next person could run it too. So I've always kind of did do that already, but I never was honest, or I never really thought I would sell my business. I was never honest about myself about selling. I was never honest with myself about ever selling the business, because I never really, and still don't want to sell it. But I still should have an exit plan. You know, everybody should have an exit plan. I know, like, these private equity companies. I went to do a shop tour with the Simple Growth Mastermind Group, and we visited a company that was bought by a private equity company. It was a landscape company similar to mine. In fact, as I was walking through there, I just felt like, man, this is exactly how my business is run. They didn't give us like exact numbers on how much they paid for it and stuff, because the owners were still there. And that's not why they didn't tell us, but they were there. So that may be awkward. And the private equity guy was there. So were the 2 owners. And I learned a lot of stuff that day too. But one of the cool things I did learn about that, which I'll share here, is, so the private equity firm owned like 5, they were in like 5 companies. Pretty big ones, right? One of them was like really big. Like, for example, I'm just making one up, but it was similar to like Stouffer's, right? So like, this private equity company owned this giant company similar to Stouffer's. It was not Stouffer's, but I remember the time thinking, man, when I was telling, people I know, I was comparing that one company that they had, that they bought, was similar to as if like a private equity company around here buying Stouffer's, because there's a Stouffer's here. I think the main factory is for Stouffer's. I could be wrong, but I see it, the big giant building in my county. So they own a giant company like Stouffer's. They own, like, I don't know, 3 other companies, and then one of them was this landscape company. So what they do is they bought the landscape company, but they also give the owners equity in all the other companies. So now that landscape owner that sold to this private equity company probably got paid a whole bunch of money, but is also a part owner of, like, for example, the company that's similar to Stouffer's. Could you imagine owning like 2% of Stouffer's? I think that'd be pretty freaking cool. You know what I mean? So they do things like that, and this owner of the private equity, well, I don't know if they're an owner, but this private equity rep, he's really involved in the landscape company. So I think he was a customer at one point or something like that. And so he really liked that landscape company. He looked into it and whatever, and it found out it could be super profitable. It's run really well. It's got a great facility. So he made an offer to these guys, and eventually, after some whatever negotiation, they sold, and they seem pretty happy. The owners are still there, and from what I understand is just, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been there, so I can't remember exactly how everything went, but I do feel like the 2 owners had their roles, right? They had their roles, and they pretty much stayed in their lane from what I gathered. Yo!
Your daughter or whatever is out there looking for another check.
Yeah, well, it's 2 checks.
Yeah, he said he's got 2 in one. 2 came in one envelope.
Yeah.
And he said there's one more missing.
What's in the mailbox? And I told him that. Anyway. Well, that's a guy I let go. That's a guy I let go who can't take directions, I guess. He
said he grabbed that one. He said it was for 2. He said it for 2 weeks or something. But that has to be the one.
That's it.
That's the one.
That's it. He didn't work any day last week. So I may get a call here soon in a second, but. Anyway, I do need to head out. Appreciate you guys. I'm working hard on those videos. Got 2 of them out, plus this. Talk to you later.